Twelfth night. The evening, or, says the Seventh New Collegiate, sometimes, where the new day starts at sunset, the eve of Epiphany. Floating in nothing, the earth by force of attraction, the moon by spinning, the two opposed not to one another, but the sun keeping both in place, in orbit. Nothing personal, pure coincidence of physics, geology, and time, abstract matter, an oxymoron meeting less than we think, feel, or imagine. Small talk among chance acquaintances. The absolute zero of outer space, meaning nothing at all but being. Leaving it up to each of us, how in our pantomime of free will we choose to live or die, our microscopic lives. Given, of course, certain social constraints, to guard against the utter despair we might otherwise confront in the cold physicality of fact, our short sublunary existence. Certain idols, myths, and instincts, cultural epiphenomena, so old they're like second nature, so subtle they cross the placental shield, informing us before we're born of the natural tendency of the nervous system as it runs down to dwell on the most unpleasant realities, like death, loneliness, and regret. Making us prone, for instance, to forget the flood of piss, blood, and shit that washed us onto this lost coast, one of the earth's beautiful places. Making us, for instance, subject ourselves to custom, pair up in desperation with whoever's handy when we need a hand, convince ourselves we belong to no one, another, part of the team, in the in-group, the peer group, age, gender, class, color, locale, smell, our most intimate problems massaged away by familiar fingers, sympathized into platitudes. Whatever vision we might have had, homogenized by talking heads and sitcom characters, circumscribed by the family circle. Hive and herd, clan and tribe, church, nation, neighborhood, monkey see, monkey do, marching off under flags bearing our favorite us not them brands. Making us prone to accept, for instance, the deadly routine of the guinea pig race, wheels within wheels in the cage and maze, numbing the heart and mind and spirit with handheld and labor-intensive conveniences, the latest gizmos, snug homes, weekend love lives, newly improved by sundry devices, relentlessly advertised. Clothes, credit, drugs, and fun. The old standby bottle of wine, emotional blackmail, and spiritual rape, convincing us it's our own fault. Stadiums filled for the group shout, illusions of grandeur, delusions of power, exercised on whatever poor creature happens to be next after us in line at the bank or graveyard. Making us prone to believe, for instance, our contradictory fantasies, schizoid dreams of love and peace, where roses happily ever after lose their thorns, and tigers their carnal appetites, lovers seeing eye to eye, satisfy each other always. Lives don't grow apart, bodies don't fall apart, love is not a market function, desire is not a playoff game, communion is not a quid pro quo, separations are temporary. Sickness and pain, aberrations. Platitudes and ideals are real. Maternity and family always occur together. Beauty just happens. Love just happens. Nature is good. It all makes sense. It all comes together in the end. Keeping us, for instance, bent down, nose to the grindstone, shoulder to the wheel, eyes downcast, properly positioned over the barrel to be entered rudely from behind by force of distraction, ignoring the lunatic wheel spinning out our twisted threads.